Okay, we're gonna try that once more with feeling. My OBS disconnected again, and I really hate when it does that because every time it does, I have to download the VODs instead of exporting straight to YouTube. And I have to do all this fucking work on Premiere Pro, and that takes a lot of space for some goddamn reason. But yeah, here we are again. I'm tired. Ugh. Okay. Okay. Anyways, we should be continuing. Because I am not doing this again. Okay, but there you go. We're back in Echo after our car got put on the side of the road. Ugh. But yeah, that's annoying. I really hate when it does that. Okay, let's get into this again. Cameron presses up tightly against Devin's side, breathing in the comfort instead of his cologne. Cam's show of confidence has mostly diminished at this point, especially as they're passing the motel. The clarity has to remind himself why is it that he insisted on doing this when Dev have offered a perfectly reasonable, if slightly exhausting, alternative. Being exhausted is preferable to PTSD. But Cameron could sense the bear began to treat him in a way that he didn't like, talking to him like he was fragile, like the slightest touch could tip him over where he shattered on the asphalt. He wants to prove that he can deal with this, which is why he has to smirk at himself right now, because he definitely wouldn't have made it this far if Dev weren't by his side. Right now, the bear has a steely grip on Cameron's paw, making it clear that he isn't letting go. Meanwhile, their free paws hold their phones, checking every now and then for a signal. Okay. Anything yet? No. Wouldn't we get signal at the same time anyway? Well, I assume I'll get it first. Oh, because mine's not an android? Yep. If only I had the brain of an engineer to figure out how to work one. Actually, maybe I should turn mine off and let you search for a signal. We should keep some battery life in one of our phones, just in case. Oh yeah, good idea. Your battery would probably die before we found service anyway. Is my thing not working? Okay, so I don't know why my stream manager was being weird. Okay. My connection's being weird. Okay, let's continue on. I don't want to have any more problems today. Let's see. Cameron turns his phone off while Dev looks on. I wouldn't worry too much about it though. It's not like we're lost in the woods or something. And I let like 3 people know where fuck. and I let like 3 people know where we were going. We're going to be fine no matter what, babe. Famous last words if I ever heard them. Right up there with here goes nothing and I think I took too much. Yeah, right. Our last words are gonna be holy shit, we lived to 100. I'm pretty sure I already screwed my chances with all the drugs I did. Along with eating fudge cakes for lunch whenever I'm at work. Ugh, seriously, Cam? Hey, it's in the vending machine right next to my cubicle. Well, we're changing that as soon as we get back. How are you gonna do that, aside from stalking me at work? I'll make you lunch. They're gonna have us start working from home on Monday, remember? I'll have plenty of time. Hell, I'd be surprised if they'll start making you work from home soon. We'll be like coworkers. Fat chance, they don't give a shit about our health there. Well, we'll see. Either way, you'll be living to 110, so you have plenty of time to think up your famous last words. Cameron has to wonder if their meandering conversation is purposeful on Dev's part, if only to distract him from what was across the road. Either way, the coyote is thankful for it. Mama, a Brian behind you. Only if you make it there with me. Oh, optimism. They're gonna live to be 50. About 15 minutes later, Cameron starts to become a bit more agitated. They're on the dirt road at this point, and every now and then they walk past crumbling structures of what used to be houses and trailers. You think the cell service stopped working since you've read about it? I don't know. They said it's pretty sporadic. Who said this exactly? The Paranormal Forum peeps. I hope they're trustworthy. They are, or at least they have no reason to lie. I think the paranormal gives people incentive to lie, especially if you're not gifted. Sure, but we're talking about cell phone service, not ghosts. Could also be esteemed by those crazy locals to lure their victims into town. You're joking, but I know you're still worried about that, so I'll just point out that it's highly unlikely because that'll leave too much of a paper trail. I'm not that worried, especially now that we've made it this far and nothing. Oh shit! What? Damn it, I just had a bar for a split sec. The bear waves the phone around over his head, spinning in a low circle. What the hell, Dev? You scared me. Sorry, babe. Anyway, I think it came from this direction. Dev indicates a rather large grouping of trees off the side of the road that form a bit of a miniature forest. Of course. Why does it have to be the creepiest thing in sight? You want to hang back while I check it out? No? Is that a question? Cameron doesn't respond, instead sliding his paw into the one Dev's offered, and they start to make their way through the sagebrush. Oh god, imagine all the tits we're picking up. Don't worry, babe. I'll come through all your fur when we get out of here. Want me to carry you? I'm fine. Alright, just don't think about the tarantulas and scorpions. You suck so much ass. Your ass is the only ass I... Dev grunts in a heavy, bearish way as Cameron wraps his arms around his neck and lifts his feet off the ground, forcing Dev to bridle carry him. Chuckling, Dev carefully makes his way through the rough terrain while the coyote awkwardly keeps his feet lifted high so they don't brush the sage. Okay. Confirm that Dev eats good. Okay. Ugh. Get some hydration here. Dev finally lowers the coyote near the edge of the forest, and they stand there, looking into the blackness. Cameron can only see the branches outlined against the moonlight, but otherwise it's almost like looking into a void. The feeling of emptiness is emphasized by the suddenly quiet desert around them. So I've got like one bar. That isn't working. You know, trees should make it harder to get a signal. Can you make a call? Well, I can't open my insurance app, so I don't know what the preferred towing companies are. And I'm just sort of realizing that most probably wouldn't come out here anyway since Flake Road doesn't technically exist anymore. Flake Road? Something like that. I'm sure it's not that, so we're not getting towed out, and you don't even know the name of the road we crashed on. Are you saying we're stuck here? Like, really stuck? Well, my Jeep probably is, not us. The highway is still within walking distance, remember? I'm such an idiot. I can't believe I got us in this mess. Hey, I don't give a shit about my Jeep. Besides, I just got an idea. Dev taps on his phone a few times, then puts it up to his ear. But only for a few seconds before he stalls. What? Call dropped, but it rained for a sec. We are so dead, I've killed us. Oh, stop it, honey. I'll try texting. Who are you texting? An old friend of ours. Who? Hmm. Damn it, I swear the bar keeps disappearing every time I try to send. I'll try some different angles. Dev is hunched over his phone, tapping away. Cameron just sighs, letting Dev do whatever it is he's doing. Despite the bear's attempts to placate him, the coyote knows that they both know that this is his fault. Why don't you just tell me what a stupid idiot piece of shit I am? Cameron doesn't want to admit it, even in his mind. But one thing he liked about Dylan was that he didn't sugarcoat things for the coyote. He'd tell him when he was an idiot, either with words or fists. Oh shit. The coyote turns his attention back to the forest, staring into the dark. Dev doesn't know anything about him and Dylan, and Cameron sure as hell isn't ever going to tell him. Especially that sometimes he was the one to swing first. Oh shit! He always lost, but the few hits he landed always felt worth it. That will be a real treat for you, Dev. Not only is your boyfriend crazy, he's violent too. Does he even know you at all? A chill goes up Cameron's spine. That didn't feel like his own thoughts, even though it came from inside his head. Cameron moves closer to Dev and rubbing his arms. Oh, just send, damn it. Devin? Just a second. I feel already went through. Just got to confirm some things with him. The voice seems to get bigger, and even though he wants to look away, Cameron can't. Wow, he really is just Coyote Chunter. He knows he's sensitive again, even though he isn't mean to. Oh wow, blood! I don't know what it was. That's what really bothers me about it. I think I could handle something like a ghost, but not something like that. So it was just me and my wife, taking a walk through the old forest, like we always did. And then, I don't know, I just got this weird feeling that, and everything went real quiet. Then this voice started, a man's voice, but it was kind of eerie. Like it wasn't real. How to explain, but it was like it was an electronic thing. A machine. It started yelling at us in this sort of playful way, like it was making fun of us, or taunting us. Said things like, the devil walks beside you and I'm taking you to hell. Weird crap like that. It was coming from the tops of the trees, and you could kind of hear it go up and down and come closer, like it was swinging through the branches. And yeah, it stared at us because it didn't make sense. The voice, where it was coming from, what it was saying, none of it made sense, and that's the scary part. So we ran. And then it said some nasty things about my wife, so I picked her up and ran as fast as I could. Later, she told me she saw it over my shoulder, in the trees. Had a hard time explaining it, which I understand because I can't explain it at all, but she said it was a shadow. A shadow person that was moving through the branches. She said light bent in a weird way around its body, like it was encased in a glass globe or something. She hasn't said much else about it. She doesn't like talking about it, and neither do I. I'm only telling you because I feel like there needs to be a record of it somewhere. Just feels wrong to go out of this life without, I don't know, letting people know that unexplainable stuff happens to a lot of people. And I hope we figure out why. And this might not be important, but I had dreams afterwards where I'd be in that forest. And this shadow creature would come crawling out into the open. And then sounds would come from where its mouth would be. I'd hear a young man screaming for help. All the story like it was recorded on a tape. And then there would be this high-pitched laughter. Shit! Ew, what the fuck? Ah! Did you hear that? That laugh? Yeah, sounded like a John dude kind of far away. Your screaming is what made me scream. It was like a cackle, like a cartoon witch or something. It was right next to us. I've heard it before. Well, I wouldn't say it was a witch. It was like a witch. It was kind of high pitched, I guess, but again, it was pretty distant. I think we should go. Why? I think it's just like a drunk hit or something. I'm almost done messaging Artie. Something bangs at the screen door swinging closed and not very far away. Oh no, it's Brian, isn't it? Oh god. Okay, time for my high pitched voice.
Who's that squealing? That you, Duke? Got me a 12 gauge right here that'll make you squeal twice as loud as you're stupid around my property again.
Dev's voice drops to a whisper. Holy shit. Then, before Cam can fully absorb exactly what's happening, Dev is pulling him along, running full tilt through the sagebrush, towards the road and back towards Lake Emma. Yeah, get the fuck out of there, please! The last thing you want is to deal with Brian! Devon's feet ached from the plethora of rocks he's trampled on, the tough paths on the other sides feeling almost torn up from the rough terrain. He's thankful, though, if only for a fact that he hadn't run himself and Cameron into a cactus. Dev. Cameron's voice drips with every running step. We're almost there. Dev huffs and puffs for air, but now aware that he's a bit more out of shape than he realized. He hadn't run in earnest for at least a few years. Dev, we're out of the town. The bear slows down now that his stuck jeep is in sight, and he finally lets go of Cameron's paw before doubling over to rest his paws on his knees, wheezing. Oh, fuck. Give me a minute. Jesus, are you okay? It sounds like you're dying. Dev? My fucking thigh is trembling like a motherfucker. Holy shit. Dev's large rear hits the ground with a thump as he reaches down to massage the back of his thigh. Oh, thank God. For what? Lay on your back. Before Dev can even follow the directions, Cameron takes the bear's right leg and slightly lifts it up, making Dev spasm as the cramping muscle is slowly stretched out. Oh, fuck. This is what I did for not running since, like, college. Cam gently rocks the leg back and forth. You friends since then? Remember that stupid company triathlon thing we did when you carried me on your back and ran across a soccer field? Despite the light conversation, Dev sees Cam looking over his shoulder towards the town, like he's waiting for a mob of hillbillies to come raging up the road. Man, I told you, Dev, the people here are psycho. Dev grunts as Cameron stretches his leg back again. I think he wasn't being serious, but yeah, you were right. All the more reason to get the fuck out of here. Dev finally puts his foot back, gingerly getting to his feet while continuing to rub at his thigh. Ugh, I never had a cramp so painful. I guess I am getting old. Take it easy next time. You were more scared than I was. You said yourself he was a drunk hick. You forgot the part where he's got a shotgun. Yeah, and I'd be more surprised if he didn't have one. Do you think he's gonna come looking for us? We're not that hard to find out here. Sounded like he thought you were some other hick. I think we're fine. I suppose you could put trailer trash in the same category as hick, so that made sense. We could keep an eye out for right now, though, just in case. Who did you say you were texting again? Artie from college. He just happened to be up and he's still living in Mesa. Said he'd drive out right away so he could be there in like 3 hours. Huh. Why Artie, though? I don't know. He was at the top of my contacts list and I knew he still lived in the States, so I gave it a shot. He could give us a ride at least, I guess. He's not one of those massive trucks, so he might be able to pull us out. His last message said he'd be here in 3 hours or less. Well, I guess that's not bad as long as we're out here by morning. I don't want you getting caught out in the heat all day. We got a shit ton of water, and if I need to cool down... Devin waves his paw at the lake. Cameron stares at the lake, seeming to think, then looks back at Dev. Listen, while we were in the forest, I don't know, I didn't see anything, but I think I did some light touch sensing the right way. Dev's upbeat mood disappears in an instant. What? Why would you do that?
Well, it kind of just happened, and I made sure to not interrupt or anything, and it was just fine, at least for the most part. What I heard was creepy.
Okay, well, now I'm gonna tell you to be careful again, because I don't want a repeat of what happened in the motel.
Well, like I said, I couldn't exactly help it. Anyway, do you know about a shadow person in that forest that spoke with a distorted electronic voice? That is the Chulpa.
Uh,
Devin is caught off guard. He knows Cameron is trying to take the focus off the fact that he's still messing around with the supernatural in a dangerously supernatural place. But he also knows exactly what Cameron is referring to. The chapter in Haunted Echo titled Entities of Static described exactly that. In the thick of trying to figure out who to call, he hadn't realized that was the forest. Dev's surprise must be pretty obvious as Cameron grins. No way, am I right? Cameron's sudden joyous reaction surprises the bear.
well, yeah, you're right.
Can you believe this? Sorry, I don't know why I'm so happy. It's just, there's a fucking reason for me to be in the way I am. I can't deny it anymore. It's hard to explain, but that kind of changes my entire life. Cameron's bottom lip trembles with emotion, and Dev shades off his feelings of unease, drawing him into a hug.
Come here. I know what you mean, baby. Well, I don't personally know, but I've wanted you to feel that way for a long time. I'm really happy for you.
I feel like I could do something. I don't know, maybe even help people with this. Cameron's voice is muffled against Dev's chest.
Oh, sure, of course. Let's find a better place than here, okay?
Dev nuzzles Cameron reassuringly, but the coyote doesn't answer. And even though that bothers the bear, he doesn't press the issue. Just wanted Cameron to feel happy for now. Aww, Cameron. Got 3 hours. Oh god, it's morning already. That's something. Okay. Let's continue. Ugh, get some hydration here. Cameron sits in the trunk of the Jeep, legs hanging out over the edge, dangling towards the ground that's further away from the usual due to the tilt. Meanwhile, he fills with his old acoustic guitar that had been stashed in the Jeep for at least a year, tuning it slowly. He hadn't even remembered it was there till they folded down the seats for a place to try to sleep. He last played at Devin's parents' house because they wanted to hear him perform, and he just left it there in the Jeep afterwards. He hadn't had a reason to play it since. The rest of the night, or early morning, really hadn't been terrible. Dev was easily comfortable, the hard surface not all that different from his side of the mattress, which was rock hard compared to Cameron's much squishier foam. He had tossed and turned until Dev finally pulled him in to lay on his head on the bear's stomach. The soft warm surface enough to lure Cameron to a dozing state of consciousness while Dev snored loudly. He has gotten used to the snoring after all these years, and now found it comforting rather than annoying. It was a good night, considering the circumstances. Dev had been unsure about sleeping in the tilted Jeep at all because it gave him a bad feeling. Okay, good. He also had a bad feeling about Cameron going back to the motel with him, so he left him here alone while the bear gathered up the rest of their stuff. 5 hours had passed since Artie tested Devin, so the bear had been getting antsy about that as well. They had a bit of an argument, and Cameron only agreed to stay behind when Dev promised not to go back to that forest to test Artie again. Now Cameron sits here moping, the feeling of a lopsided relationship returning. I suck at guitar. He mumbles to himself quietly out of habit, knowing people didn't like hearing it since he was good enough, which had been his goal. All of his singer-songwriter idols played guitar, and he wanted to be just like them. He forced himself to learn how to become good enough, with all the awkward fingerings, the constant tuning, and the pain of holding down steel strings with his finger pads, even after he built up calluses. That's how he described guitar in general. A pain. He preferred piano, same. And that's why he used to write all of his music, same. But the devastatingly sad men of the 90s Northwest indie music scene didn't play piano, they played guitar, because they were also rugged and tough, molded by the logging towns they originated from. And it turns out that one's image is just as important in indie as it is in pop, despite the former trying to convince itself it isn't. So Cameron had tried to confirm to that, and in the end it hadn't mattered. The hours and hours dedicated to learn the instrument through high school and college now felt wasted. Still, the feeling of the instrument is familiar in his paws, even if his fingers are already getting sore. He tries to think of one of his less embarrassing songs. One of the ones where he wasn't just wearing the influence of cloudy, dreary northwestern cities on his sleeve, even though that's where he's from. He tried and failed to duplicate their poetic and opaque lyricism. Instead, he found himself slipping back again and again to the style of his own generation. While his idols of the 90s wove lyrics that forced the listener to delve into something complex to find meaning in the metaphors and symbolism, singer-songwriters born in the 90s, like himself, presented their lyrics in a more literal, honest way that often describes specific situations with seemingly nothing hidden. To Cameron, it's two sides of the same coin. Instead of discovering meaning in complexity, it's about discovering complexity in simplicity. Besides, deciding it's tuned well enough. He glances up, making sure Dev isn't heading back before playing. He's badly out of practice, but he slowly starts to warm up. Cameron sings quietly, almost under his breath. This particular song got the attention of an independent label on the West Coast after one of their scouts heard it on the college radio station. They signed him in his junior year of college. Looking back, it was the high point of his life. Dev had celebrated in earnest, happily telling him that he made more money than he himself ever would. But what Cameron didn't realize was that even after being signed, he could still be dropped without releasing any of his music. And after what was probably the lowest point of his life, they did just that. Fuck them. Dropped over text message with his agent saying the demos he made in studio weren't up to their quality standard. Then why the fuck did you sign him up in the first place, though, bitch? Let's shut the fuck up. Just say you changed your mind. Actually, don't say that because that's still a dick move regardless. Jesus fucking Christ. That hurt a lot because he knew it was true. He'd been nervous the entire time, and his output wasn't even close to what he was capable of. Though he tried to comfort himself with the idea that most musicians go it alone these days, his own postings on the internet barely got more than a few dozen listens. Then he finally realized that he was in it for the wrong reason. His peers just liked playing music, throwing stuff out into the ether whether someone heard it or not. Cameron needed an audience to stay motivated, to be famous, so in a way, I fucking deserved it. At least Devin never brought it up. Cameron stops playing, having seen brownish fur out of the corner of his eye. He thinks it's Dev and immediately feels his face flush, freezing and just sitting there. This is why he didn't play or sing in a serious way these days. Now it just feels like showing off a skill that he was never really skilled at in the first place. But after a while, he doesn't hear anything. No voice, no footsteps. And blind through his embarrassment, Cam looks up the road where he'd been certain that his boyfriend had been watching him. It's not Cam. It's not Dev. It's not Dev. Dev? The silence is heavy and thick. A weird feeling and everything went real quiet. Cameron stares up the empty road, the feeling of unease growing until he finally shoves his guitar to the side and pulls out his phone, tapping on a mindless gaming app to distract himself. Nope. Not doing this again, not right now. Even though the road remains empty, and even though the sun shines brightly above, illuminating everything around him, the feeling of what is becoming a very familiar dread continues to grow. How is it evening? Then that light shining down on everything changes, shifted to a more golden glow. What the hell is going on? Cameron had a few bad trips in the past, shrooms being the worst, and that was what gave him his first panic attack. In a strange way, this feels very similar. Please, not now. I have control, and I'm saying not now. No control. Shit! That voice, well, that feeling, it instantly made all the fur in his back of his neck stand up. Cameron starts walking up the road, towards Echo just under a mile away. Dev, come back now, please! The panic creeps up his neck like he's drowning. Until last night, he hadn't had a panic attack in over 2 years. Now it's like his brain has relearned the spiraling process of gasping for air that is readily available but still feels out of reach. He fights the urge, counting, trying to remember the pace of Dev's steady breaths. Had he wanted to reject the idea that he needed Dev to face his fears? Doesn't he know how to handle this, how to do it safely? Cameron also knows that running to Dev will only make things worse for his boyfriend. Did he want to stress him out even more? The coyote stops, then turns around slowly. Just like that, the feelings of panic and terror slowly fade away to be replaced by a feeling of purpose. Something solid. Something resolute in its existence. Something that's already happened. Nothing can be done to change it. A feeling of acceptance. Another CG! Cameron's walk slows to a more measured pace, mirroring someone just outside of his view. In another place? No, in this exact same place, just in a different time. Cameron knows what's happening, and he questions what he's about to do, but with this new feeling of calm assuredness, the coyote decides to let it happen. Dev didn't want him doing this because he's had a change of heart, but so does Cameron, and this is his choice to make. So he lets it happen. And he senses this person, a girl, a feline, walking just like him. It's Heather. Years and years ago. It's Heather. She tries to keep her sobs quiet, walking along the road by the lake. She's been looking forward to this for 2 months. She saved up money from babysitting jobs to buy her own dress, her own fake jewelry, and her makeup. Her father had found the makeup a week ago and threw it away, telling her only bad things happen to girls who wore makeup. Bitch, shut the fuck up. Even then, she still had the dance to look forward to. But now James, her ex from last year, had ruined it. He showed up drunk, proposed to her, then cussed out her new boyfriend, whom she only been seeing for a month now until he left. At least now she's glad she doesn't have the makeup on with how wet her eyes are. This has been the last dance of the year at Echo High, and she's worried she's going to graduate with no boyfriend at all and no money to go anywhere. Lost in her thoughts, she notices fast, pounding footsteps only seconds before it happens. Before it happens, she sees James as it happens. She realizes what is happening at the same moment. Knowing him, this is actually something she expected. And at that moment, she decides that maybe this is for the best. Cameron? So it wasn't Heather. Oh. Lost in the vision, Cameron feels himself recoil from something touching him. Cameron loses his balance, windmilling his arms comically, and he has a split second to recognize Dev. The bear has his paw out, like he's been resting on the coyote's arm. The look of shock is mirrored on his boyfriend's face. Before he throws it over the edge and straight to the lake.
Cameron!
The coyote expects to go under, and stay under, just like the girl from Echo High. But a jolt goes through his body as his rear lands on a rocky surface, just a foot underwater, and Cameron cries out loudly.
Fuck!
Cameron looks up to see Dev getting ready to jump in. I'm fine! At first, Cameron is just embarrassed, like he got caught doing something he shouldn't, which he knows is the case in Dev's mind. It's not as deep as it used to be.
What?
As he climbs out with Dev's help, though, that embarrassment changes to anger. The coyote grunts and snarls quietly as he automatically starts stripping off his clothes, his plaid shirt and jeans sticking to his soddy fur. Dev hovers over him, trying to help, but mostly getting in the way. Dev, you have a list of people who died here, right?
What? What are you talking about? You just fell into the lake. Stop talking about this shitty town. Let me make sure you're...
Oh, that's real rich coming from you. I've been saying that to you for the past 5 years, and yet here we are. So no, I won't stop. Give me a list or I'll look it up myself. Dev glares, making himself look big. But Cameron doesn't budge, even though in that moment he realizes his phone got wet, and he can only hope that it's still going to work after this. After a few seconds, the bear deflates.
Please, I just want to be out of here. I'll do whatever you want afterwards. Let's just go home first.
Are you two having a domestic? That cools Cameron's outrage for the time being, never having seen Dev look so defeated. We will go home, and I'm sorry I'm being like this, but you have to understand that this is changing everything for me, and I just need this for a little bit, okay?
Okay, but I'm not leaving your side until we're out of this town, okay?
Didn't I tell you this was a bad idea at the very start? Cameron tries to lighten the mood a bit, not liking the conflicts they're having on this little trip. They hardly had any before coming here. Now they have such different ideas of what they should be doing, it's like they're in a tug of war. Dev takes out his phone, bringing up the document he'd been using to map out the supernatural happenings in history of Echo. So, it was a girl, teenager, a bobcat from like the 50s, I think? A student from Echo High School. Dev furrows his brows, scrolling slowly on his phone. Then he looks back up.
Yeah, June 1954. An 18-year-old bobcat jumps in the lake in what is thought to be a suicide.
So the fucker got away with it?
Who? How does your tail feel, by the way?
Dev is running his paw along his tail, feeling out the vertebrae. Cameron finds the bear's disinterest in all this more and more irritating, especially now that he's found what feels like his purpose. He can help somehow. Dev hits a bruised spot on his tail, and the coyote winces before shoving his paw away. Ow! Not now, Dev! Listen, her ex-boyfriend killed her. I saw him run her up and push her into the lake.
Did you have to experience that? Do you feel okay?
Dev, I'm not important here. This is about someone who got murdered and some piece of shit got away with it.
First of all, don't call yourself unimportant. You're still alive, and you need to keep it that way by not falling into lakes because of these awful visions.
I need to tell her family, or at least someone so people know the truth. Devin frowns deeply at the coyote.
Listen, babe, I know you can see things I can't and all, but I gotta be honest and say that no one's gonna care. They're dead. The girl and most likely her ex, too.
That's short-sighted as all hell, Dave. He can definitely still be alive, having lived a full life after murdering someone. And she might have siblings who are still alive, or, I don't know, I think someone probably gives enough of a shit to want to know.
And then, what? You go up to them and tell me you're psychic and that you had a vision of their loved one being murdered? Besides, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone knew what happened. A lot of the times they do. There just isn't always enough evidence.
Cameron feels his face getting hot, glaring at the asphalt. You wanted me to do this, and you wanted answers. Why are you holding me back now?
Because I'm terrified right now. Of this town, of the ghost, of you getting hurt somehow because all the with the right things are going. That's what's probably gonna happen. I want to know where Lupita is, but she died because I made stupid mistakes. I can't have the same thing happening with you.
Cameron's face gets hot again as he realizes Dev is about to cry, and his resolve wavers. He starts to step forward, to hold Dev like the bear had held the coyote so many times, but then... The two of them looked up to see a rather small sedan pulling up to the road, a figure waving inside enthusiastically through the windshield.
What the hell? Where's his truck?
Devin! Cameron! Sorry I'm late. I had trouble finding this road. Then I had trouble driving on it. Did I catch you in the middle of some...
Where the hell is your truck?
Huh?
Look at my Jeep. I told you I was stuck, man.
Well, this is not the reunion I was expecting. I thought you just wanted a ride. Besides, even if I pulled you out, your Jeep's fucked. I could tell it from here. Be nice, Dev. He's doing us a favor. Hey, Kim! Hey, Artie. I feel in the lake, so that's why I'm half naked right now. That's hilarious. Did you push him in, Devin? Already makes me feel like I'm back in college.
Oh my god.
Hey, are you guys ghost hunting? Can I join in before we head out?
Nope.
Why not?
Because we're done.
Dev, we can probably walk around a little bit before we go. He went on a really long drive.
What?
Devin sounds incredulous, and Cameron can understand why. But despite what the bear said moments ago, he still wanted to explore further. Cameron knows that once he leaves, he'll probably never come back to this place again. Damn, Dev, did the two of you switch places or something? Anyway, I agree with Cam. I gotta stretch my legs out a bit. Devin looks down at Cameron, apparently at a loss for words. Cameron can't meet his gaze, so he looks down the road, towards Echo, towards the place that he's positive has more answers to all of his questions. He needs this. No, you don't! No, you don't! Just go somewhere else! Just go to another haunted town! One that's specifically not filled with meth heads! Please, Cameron! Please! Don't do this! No, and they all get into Artie's car. Which, after stretching the list for a bit, they all get into Artie's car and they drove away from Echo. In the aftermath, Devin and Cameron kind of help rekindle their relationship, making them even stronger than ever before. And Artie sometimes is there too. The end. Happy ending. Happy ending. No suffering allowed. Oh, I need some water. Ugh. Devin sighs as he watches Artie squat down behind his Jeep, examining the wheel's balance above the cracks and dusty asphalt. Shit! How did you manage to do this? It looks like you literally drove straight off the road. Devin sighs deeply as he stands next to Cameron, practically fantasizes about getting into the beat-up sedan and escaping this hellish town. They're so close to getting out of here, and the bear just wishes he could pick them both of them and toss them into the car. Sure, he could technically do that if he wanted to, but that obviously isn't a reality. He knows that to go against Cameron's wishes right now would be devastating to the coyote in their relationship, as it isn't already devastating enough as it is. All I have to do is ride this out and hope that they'll be on their way within the hour. Devin notices the silence after Artie's question, and the cat is looking up expectantly. Not wanting Cameron to be put on the spot, the bear clears his throat.
We thought we saw something on the road and swerved. It was probably just a boulder or something.
Artie looks back to the road where there definitely isn't a boulder. Dev sees Cameron rub an arm self-consciously out of the corner of his eye.
It was in the middle of the night, so you know, shadows and shit.
Hard to imagine you overreacting like that, Dev. Glad you guys are okay, though. Must have been rough looking at how deep the tires went.
It was. Hey, how long do you need to recharge for the drive? I detect the wheel if you're too worn out.
Ha! Right after you crashed your own car?
It was in the middle of the night.
With your head in your hands, you're nothing more than his wife. And when you think about me, all of those years ago, you're standing face to face with I told you so. I'm sorry, I had to. He did a good Let Babe reference, and I just had to honor that. Hey, I'm just playing, dude. Chill. Artie raises a brow at the bear, glancing at Cameron. You guys alright? Kinda feels like I've been watching on a fight or something. Dev massages just above his eyes with a thumb and middle finger.
No, I'm just really tired, man. We were up for most of the night.
Artie then looks at Cameron, waiting for a response to the coyote. Dev tries not to bristle at the implication that Cameron might have a different response. Yeah, we're just tired. I think walking around a little bit would do us all some good. Oh yeah, last time I went ghost hunting with Dev, it was real spooky. Even though we didn't see anything. One of my top 10 highs. In fact...
Eyes?
Artie jogs back to his car. He's got weed. I got some oil cartridges from the dispensary on the way here. You guys want to hit? Dev's stomach turns as he watches Artie grab a vape pen from the passenger seat.
No, we're good, man. I don't know if it's a good idea for you to do that drive anyway. Are you high right now, actually?
No, and I'll have calmed down by the time we're done looking around. Devin can't manage to say anything more before Artie takes a deep, long pull from his pen. A red light on the tip pulsing to life in time with his intake of breath. How do you know if I'm good? Which... Cameron's voice is so low, Dev almost doesn't hear it.
What was that, honey?
You just said you were good without even asking me. Devin doesn't know what to say anyway, because Cam just doesn't do drugs. The charity will even joke that he's straight edge.
I just thought...
Dev struggles for words as Artie looks at Cameron, then Devin, then back again as he continues to hold in the vapor he inhaled. Anyway, I don't mind taking a hit if that's okay with you, Artie. Artie exhales loudly and holds out the pen to Cameron. Yeah, of course, dude! Dev stares incredulously, the disbelief building until he can't hold it back.
Cameron, what are you doing?
Artie looks at Dev with wide eyes, but Cameron only spares him a glance before plucking the pen from Artie's paw and taking a deep pull from it. Dev stares at the pulsing red light, then at Cameron's face, whose eyes are closed. Dev can't tell what Cameron's thinking right now, but whatever it is, Dev knows this isn't the behavior of the coyote he's gone to know over the years. It's juvenile, and Cameron is usually more mature than the bear when it comes to stuff like this. Okay, I'll just play along like everything's fine between you two. Either way, maybe we should just go? Dev feels his chest loosen a bit with relief at hearing those words. I hear some sense from someone other than himself, but Cameron frowns and opens his mouth. Instead of words, he begins to cough explosively to his elbow, seemingly unable to catch his breath.
Hey, you alright?
Dev walks over to Cameron, rubbing his back. Yeah, that's normal, especially with a big hit like that. You handled your weed pretty good?
Which, he doesn't smoke weed, dude. That's why I assumed. I smoked plenty back in high school. Never had one of these, though.
Cameron seems to be catching his breath, finally. Okay. That's harsh as fuck. Like, worse than a blunt. You get used to it. Besides, you only need to hit it a few times to get high. Should I take another then?
No, you shouldn't.
Cameron narrows his eyes at Dev. Why are you acting like this, Dev? It's just marijuana. I never complain when you drink.
Because this isn't like you at all, Cameron.
Dev had been holding the conversation back from becoming personal, if only because Artie is here, but at this point he can't stop himself. He's starting to wonder if this all goes deeper than he'd like to think. In an awkward silence that follows, Artie quietly takes the pen from Cameron. Well, I think one hit is good for now, especially if this is your first time smoking in a while. Let's see how you feel in 20 minutes. He pauses and tilted the pen in his paw towards Devin. You sure you did? I know we only did a hide together a few times, but I don't want you to feel left out.
No, it's not my thing.
Devin looks at Cameron.
You told me back in college that it wasn't your thing either. That's the only reason why I said we're good. Sorry, man.
No problem. It's been a while, so why not have a go, right? Dev sighs loudly and folds his arms, shaking his head in resignation.
I guess so.
Artie quietly takes another hit off the pen before tossing it back into the car. If it makes you feel better. Artie puffs out his cheeks as he let out his breath.
Shit's a lot safer than alcohol, or most any drug, really. God. Oh, spare me, dude. I'm not in the mood for soda talk right now.
It's true. It's true. I think it's physically impossible to overdose on it.
That's not the point, Cam. It's more mentally fucky, you know?
Artie shrugs.
Depends on the person. I think Cameron's old enough to know what's good for him.
Artie keeps his tone light, but Devin feels himself actually bristle at that. It's like he's being made out to be a controlling boyfriend, so the bear just looks away in frustration. It doesn't matter what the cat thinks. While Artie was a good friend in college, he didn't know all that much about Devin and Cameron's relationship, or Cameron's past. The bear knows his coyote, and this isn't like Cameron at all. It's the hysteria. Hysteria. Mass hysteria. He just hopes that whatever it is that's going on with his boyfriend will stop when they leave the town. It's the hysteria. It's happening again. Just burn the whole town down. Cameron stares across the lake, noticing how the light blue of the water almost perfectly reflects the blue of the sky. Is that why lakes are blue? Because they're just a reflection of what's above? Yes. And that's why it becomes dark and murky when the weather is cloudy? Also yes. Oh shit, that's crazy. This seemingly profound realization is what makes Cameron suddenly realize that he's very, very high. At first, Cameron finds it funny and he laughs out loud, only to stumble over nothing as his limbs suddenly feel intensely heavy. Whoa! What was finally suddenly becomes somewhat alarming, and the coyote's giggling dies away almost instantly. Cameron quickly walks back to the road where Dev and Artie are, trying not to look like his legs are both 50 pounds heavier. Huh. It doesn't help that his jeans are still a bit damp. The feeling of the soggy denim on his fur incredibly unpleasant. Just a minute ago, he walked to the store to put his clothes back on and everything had been fine. Now he's in a different world. He leans back against the car, folding his arms, trying to ignore the intensifying gravity. Fuck. He's never been this high before. His 16-year-old self would be able to handle this no problem, but the shroom trip he went through sometime during junior year had ruined most reality-distorting drugs for him. Even when he smoked the cheap weed bud his friends provided through high school, he would still come close to freaking out. But he always had an odyssey back in those days to calm himself down. Or at least whatever benzo he managed to steal from his mom's medicine cabinets. Oh my god, is he Nicole? Let's go ahead and snort your mom's pills. Now there's nothing between him and feeling like time and reality are completely fucked. Permanently fucked? Like how shrooms permanently fucked his sense of self? Can we do that? Stop, you stupid fucking idiot. Stop sucking yourself out and man the fuck up. Dev had been right, of course. What the fuck was he thinking? Well, he knows what it is he's been thinking. While he made a fuss about Dev answering for him, in reality, it had been a spur-of-the-moment decision. Because when Artie offered the pen, he remembered that seeing things always became easier when he was high. It wasn't really a positive part of being high, but if he's going to be doing this psychic shit, maybe he should experiment more with it. He feels very differently about it now. Weed seemed like a good, harmless way to test his experiment 10 minutes ago. But now Cameron is questioning if weed even triggered supernatural stuff for him in the first place. He was always on other stuff whether he smoked weed after all. Opioids, stimulants, dissociatives, and definitely hallucinogens like shrooms did the trick. But for obvious reasons, he's never going to try those things again. He just needs to relax and be aware if something happens. Oh yeah, he's Blaze. Cameron opens his eyes, looking towards Artie in confusion. Huh?
Babe, you alright?
The coyote looks at the bear, still confused. What's wrong? I just asked if you're feeling okay, and you were totally spaced out.
Artie, just stop freaking him out. Everything's fine, alright, Cameron?
I am fine. It's you acting like something's wrong that's freaking me out right now. We are kind of being buzzkills, Devin. You got water, let's give him a drink. Devin takes Cameron's paw.
Sorry, let's go water, okay, honey?
Seeing Dev transition from frustrated to concerned immediately makes Cameron feel better. While he acted rebellious to somewhat disguise his intentions, he doesn't actually want the bear to be mad at him. He'll explain to Devin later why he did this if it actually ends up working. Just telling him right now, with Artie right here, would be way too complicated for his brain right now. Drugs hold a lot of baggage for him, like they would for any former addict. And Cameron doesn't doubt that Dev is not pleased at the fuck. And Cameron doesn't doubt that Dev is not pleased in the slightest with what he's doing right now. For now, he squeezes Devin's paw on his own and smiles as the bear squeezes back. Cameron giggles. Holy shit, I've never been this high before. And that was a single mouth hit. Oil cartridges are insane. Yes, we're just more potent every year. I'm not surprised it knocks you on your ass. Cameron vacantly watches Dev climb into the rear of the Jeep, grabbing their plastic bottles and one of the gallon jugs of water. How long is the come up? Am I gonna get more high? Only if you take another hit, you want to? Dev looks up from unpacking their food and water, biting his lip, but Cameron shakes his head. Nah, I'm good, just wondering. So just relax, you start coming down within an hour. That sounds good. One time I did shrooms and I was stuck in it for 8 hours. It felt like forever, like literally forever. No thanks. No thanks, that shit freaks me out. I'm just not into stuff that changes you for good, you know? Yeah, it definitely changed me. Not in the good way. I mean, some people change for the better, and others just kind of end up mentally fucked up, and that was me. No shit, what'd it do? Just the idea that a few nasty tasting mushrooms can just change your entire universe makes everything feel fake, I guess. Like everything that makes us who we are, our brain signals or whatever, could be so easily manipulated. You realize nothing's real, and for my friends that was something that actually motivated them to be better people. For me, I just cared less and less. The weed is making him open up about things he normally shouldn't, and the coyote isn't sure if that's a good thing. Sure, it opened up my mind, but no one ever tells you that you can't close it when you're done. You can't ever close it. I should have listened when they told me I needed to be in a good place or for it to have a good impact on me. I wasn't in a good place at all. The stress of the past day, on top of remembering that traumatic event, made Cameron's eyes well up. Probably also because of the weed. Hey, dude, you okay? Tears spill over, and now he's truly crying. Despite knowing it must look ridiculous, it feels meaningful and poignant. A good cry. It doesn't make it any less embarrassing. Devin, with an expression both worried and exasperated, pausing his rummaging for water and food to rub Cameron's arm and kiss the side of his head. I'm sorry, I thought this would help me see ghosts. I didn't even know why I did this. I wasn't mad at you at all. Devin studies Cameron closely for a moment, and Cameron's blood runs cold at the thought that, for whatever reason, was he just said is fucked up enough to make Devin question why he's with the crazy canine in the first place. But Dev quickly goes on as if Cameron didn't say anything.
Sit down and have some water, honey.
He holds up a green plastic bottle, filled with water, and Cameron drinks from it loudly.
And food.
Devin pushes a bag of jerky along with a box of cheese crackers towards Cameron. Why is Devin always so nice when he's such a dick? Thanks, Thanks, Devin. I'm sorry I'm such a piece of shit.
What? Honey, where did that come from?
I know that's something you wouldn't say, but I'd rather you tell me when I'm being awful. I don't want to go back to the way I was. It's quiet for a moment.
Wow, this got you that fucked up, huh? That's all you gotta say, Artie?
Dev doesn't sound angry at Artie anymore, much to Cameron's relief. Just very tired. Still, this is all pretty standard stuff, especially when you got low tolerance. And I'm not trying to be a dick when I say that I'm actually a little jealous. Correct me if I'm wrong, Cam, but it looks cathartic as hell.
You're not being a dick, it's just not a smart thing to say right now, Arturo.
Hurt's right. I feel really in touch with my feelings right now, and... Cameron absentmindedly shoves a cracker into his muzzle and stops. The salty, savory flavor is so satisfying he has to use all of his focus to appreciate it.
Fuck, that's good.
Arturo laughs. Cameron shoves a strip of jerky that's lightly seasoned with hot sauce into his mouth, combining the flavors, and he moans again. The flavors are melting on my tongue! Devin's... I can't, dude. I can't. I just remember that TikTok. It's so funny. Devin sighs in a defeated but accepting sort of way. That makes Cam feel even better. That even though he did something stupid, Devin seems to understand.
Hey, let me in on some of that. Alright, but eat slow. This food is for survival, not for your munchies.
We'll be out here by noon, Dev. Relax. Devin sighs as he leans up against the tailgate, covering his face with his paws, then grunts with annoyance as he has to move to let Artie by.
Trust me, I'm trying.
Oh, what? Oh, Dev looks really cute in this CG. Wait. This is actually accurate to my friend dynamic. I'm literally I'm the sober one, and then my friends are the ones who like who take a hit or drink. Since I don't really like alcohol that much, and I barely get high. Actually, rarely, really rarely. Actually, I kind of classify myself as the designated driver, the only sober friend in the group. Jesus. Seeming to disregard Devin's advice to take it slow, Artie starts cramming jerky into his muscle, moaning like Cameron. It's natural so much better when you're high versus like an actual meal, you know? Cameron doesn't know, but nods enthusiastically.
I can't believe this.
Devin's tone is one of actual disbelief. Arturo glances lazily at Cameron. Is Devin being a fucking Nazi about everything new, or have you been putting up with this for a while? It's weird after knowing how he acted in college. Cameron leans against the tailgate, smiling at Devin. I've been doing some dangerous shit during our investigation, and Devin's just trying to keep us safe. He's wonderful, and I love him. Devin looks at him and just gives him a small smile without saying anything. Oh, you gonna let me in on what's going on between you two? Because I think we can all admit that it's been super awkward so far. Hasn't it though? It must be fucking weird for you. They both laugh, and the obnoxious snorts that Cameron makes only makes him snort louder.
It's just not really something that you need to know about. I know that sounds rude, but I'm psychic.
Dev's eyes widen, and Cameron doesn't help to feel the silence that follows. Like you can see the future, or I can see ghosts and maybe the future? I don't really know how it works, I'm just trying to figure it out. Cameron hadn't really been giving it much thought, but seeing the future seemed to be a part of it.
Dude, that's fucking awesome!
Devin shifts around, and Cameron can tell he's not exactly happy about him talking to Artie about this. He has to wonder why.
Shit, I think my aunt was super psychic. Super psychic as opposed to what? Sort of psychic? Nah, she had like tarot cards and shit, and half my siblings that were up to shitty shit that the cartel was gonna disappear. That was gonna disappear them. Well, did they get disappeared? I mean, one died after routine surgery, but the cartel wasn't involved as far as I know. That's so sad. I'm sorry, I don't know why I laughed. It's cool, I get it. So, not really psychic, at least not like himself. He feels wrong to him, but Cameron feels almost dismissive of anyone that doesn't see things like he does. He's different, in a good way, and for once he feels like he can admit that. He had seen his friend's death a few months before it happened, and he had dreams that were so accurate to the future that it has seemed almost like deja vu. I want to go for a walk. Everything looks really neat right now. Dope, let's go see some ghosts. Devin sighs heavily again, but helps Cameron down from the truck. The coyote leaning against him as they start walking. Oh, God. Just go home. Just go home, Dev. Just take the keys and drive. At this point, Devin has reassigned himself to the fact that Cameron is going to do what he wants, and all Devin can do is respect his decision. While Artie reminded him more than once that Cameron is an adult had been annoying, it's also true that Devin has no right to take that decision away from Cameron. Still, there's a part of him that's hurt that Cameron would disregard his own feelings on the matter. Especially after opening up to him by the lake. But Devin also disregarded Cameron's feelings when bringing him here, at least to an extent that the bear had thought was reasonable. Now it seems like he's reaping what he sowed. Still, Devin remembers and brings up something that could keep them from venturing too far into town. We should only go as far as the motel. Cam and I had a brush with some gun-toted redneck near the other side of the town last night. Whoa, really? Cameron giggles. One yelled at us from really far away, and Dev ran so hard he got a gnarly crab in his thigh. Again, he had a shotgun. Doesn't that bother you guys? Artie? Artie shrugs. Man, I had guys flash their guns at me on the road because I flipped them off. Every one of them was too chicken shit to shoot, and this was even when I flew the old Azuli Blanco on my car. Well, lucky for you, people here don't even know what that is. Now, if I were to mount a sonoran flag on my Jeep while also flipping the bird. Anyway, I say we stick around this area, no further than the motel. You should be more careful though, Artie. I swear I heard a road rage story every few months where someone gets shot. Honestly, Tam, that's my fault in the road. I say let it happen. You gotta live, and if that involves getting shot on the freeway because you made fun of something someone's driving, then so be it. Is it really a fork in the road if the other option is death? Yeah, one of those roads just leads to a dead end or something. I don't know, I'm high as hell right now. I think the metaphor is more appropriate for longer-term consequences, though. Devin just smirks at the meaningless banter about fork-in-the-road metaphors that must seem so profound to them right now. You know, my mom always talks about her fork-in-the-road being in the 5th grade, and that it led to her having a shitty life. Seems kinda young to have a decision like that come up. I think she just likes to be able to point at a moment everything went wrong. But anyway, they've been hyping up this space shuttle launch for months, and she decided she was going to be an astronaut. She went to the public library for the first time in her life to check out books about astrophysics and stuff. Dev certainly has a good idea where this is going. Then, after the whole class was watching the liftoff live on TV, it exploded. And even though her teacher turned it off and went about the day like nothing happened, they all knew those astronauts were dead. Oh my god, the Challenger space shuttle incident? They brought that into this game? Damn. Also, fun fact, did you know that
they had a plan to put Big Bird into the Challenger's shuttle. So like they had this plan for the kids because this was like a televised event, and obviously school kids were gonna watch this. So they had this plan to bring Big Bird, like Big Bird from Sesame Street, albeit like an actor in the Big Bird costume, to get on the Challenger. So it could be like Big Bird went into space. Luckily, that never went through actually. So Big Bird never got into the shuttle, which in hindsight was a really good thing because can't you imagine kids watching that knowing that Big Bird was gonna be on that space shuttle, and then they see the shuttle explode, and now Sesame Street was gonna have to do like a whole like, oh, Big Bird is dead shit. So yeah, fun facts, yay. Hmm. It made her question all of her plans, and she drifted through life after that, not knowing what she wanted to be anymore. Damn, that's fucked up, man.
Do you know what that happened, by the way?
Cameron gives Dev a confused look, and so does Artie, like they forgot he's even there. Why my mom didn't know what to do? It's because she watched clips of smiling, waving astronauts standing on a space shuttle that then exploded live on TV, Devin. Devin sighs, realizing he needs to make things more clear for this high version of Cameron.
No, I mean why that space shuttle exploded.
Because rockets and fuel can cause explosions, right?
No, well, yeah, but mainly...
Dev refocuses his chain of thoughts.
It's because they didn't listen to their engineers. You know, the people that stand between you and a pancake shopping mall, or a freeway bridge collapsing during rush hour, or an exploding space shuttle.
Dev raises his brows meaningfully at Cameron, though weirdly enough he realizes that he's mainly talking to himself.
Always listen to your engineer.
His half-assed attempt at making the conversation about listening to his advice quickly backfires, though.
Well, those engineers were like the ones at Pueblo. I'm willing to bet more people would have listened to them and didn't act like such know-it-all pricks. God, someone's still sore from having to drop out of their major. Fuck you too.
Hey, come on, guys, we're feeling good right now. You know, Artie, I've dated an engineer for 5 years now. They gotta talk down to you to do their job. Cameron walks against Devin and playfully nudges him with his shoulder. Even though Cameron is playing along with what Devin started, hearing his boyfriend say that actually stings a little bit.
Which, babe, I don't talk down to you. I don't mean to anyway.
Arturo makes a face and Dev does his best to pretend like he doesn't see it. Hey, I'm just kidding, I would agree with you. If people let disasters happen because they're too proud to listen to experts, then fuck them. Maybe if they had, my mom would be on a space station right now.
Maybe. Mistakes happen, though. They remind us to keep our guard up, because it always slips eventually, you know?
I think I do. Dev smiles, pleasantly surprised that Cameron seems to be heeding his advice to be careful. Yay, they're happy! I barely know these people yet. I'm fearing for their relationship. Let's see. Probably gotta play for a few, like a couple minutes more. Well, until a perfect time to stop. Let's see. For the first time in a day, he finds himself starting to relax a little. The end of this bizarre nightmare is in sight. They're already starting to circle back around to their car. You know, it's kind of amazing to think about how you two are still together. That brings Dev out of... Okay, yeah, I'm trying to find a voice for Arturo, and I figured Crispin from Class of '09 would probably be a good fit for him. And by good fit, I mean this is literally the only other voice I can think of right now for him. That brings Dev out of his reverie really quickly.
Why is that?
Well, all of our other friends didn't last more than a few years out of college. If you think about that, you and Cam are probably the biggest opposites out of all of those relationships. I think the most important thing in a relationship is getting along. If you can do that for 95% of the time, you're probably set. That and having different hobbies and spending time apart adds to a healthy relationship. Man, sometimes you sound like a self-help relationship book. Or something. Maybe that's why.
I think it's just that we're both reasonable people. That's usually all you need.
Well, I'm really happy it all worked out, especially after your first relationship. Honestly, looking back, I was basically setting Kim up to be a rebound. I wasn't really mean to, of course.
You know, I forgot how you somehow managed to always say the wrong thing at the wrong time, Artie.
Well, it has been a long time, so I'm interested. I just wonder who you were with before me. All you said was that they were like a month-long fling? Artie seems to take this as the go-ahead to reveal irrelevant and embarrassing information about Dev's previous love life. He was a fox named Jesus, right, Devin?
I never brought him up because the relationship lasted literally 2 months.
2 months is also 2 months can be enough to change a person, Dev. Let's be for real. Thoughts, huh? Cameron says it in a contemplative way, in a way that makes Devin uneasy, even though the coyote is probably just truly curious. Still, Devin has to wonder if Cam is now suspecting he has a canine fetish or something. Well, yeah, I was short, but when he dumped Dev, like he went the full chick flick route and laid in bed for a week eating ice cream, I was so worried for him that I set the two of you up. Devin's muzzle burns under the fur, even harder than the heat of the desert.
Why did I ever tell you anything in confidence?
Well, it's more like I saw it, like the entire dorm did. Is that true, Devin? To Devin's dismay, Cameron sounds genuinely interested now, combined with a genuine degree of concern. You seemed so put together when I first met you. Dev avoids answering.
It wasn't you that set us up. You mentioned me to your girlfriend's friend who happened to be Cameron's friend. She set us up.
Yeah, you can wear it how you like, but if I do remember them mentioning the super hot guitar coyote, too bad he's gay, dude, who knows where you'd be now. Yeah, that's me. And less than a week later, I knew it worked because I walked in on the two of you fucking. Oh god, why are you bringing that up?
Yeah, why?
Because it was funny? Besides, I walked in on like a dozen people going at it at some points. Hell, back when the university library was open 24/7, you had a 50-50 chance of walking in on a pair of rats getting it on at 2 a.m. in one of the back rooms. Arturo prattles onto camera while Devin sulks behind a bit. The bear finds himself wishing he'd been the one to tell Cameron about all of that. The way Ori described it made him sound unstable in a way. The fox had been cute, but Devin never really got to know him before Jesus abruptly broke it off. When he first met Cameron, on the other hand, he was cute and hot, especially with his charming voice, but that was just the surface stuff. Cameron was also nice, and considerate, and thoughtful, and complex in ways that the bear is still trying to fully understand. Devin had girlfriends in high school, so people wouldn't get suspicious, but the thoughts had been what he considered his first real relationship, and he simply overreacted to his first real breakup. Looking back on his 19-year-old self, it's hard to understand why it had felt like the end of the world. If Cameron were to disappear from his life now, it will be the end of the world. The world that he knows, at least. Maybe if for some terrible reason, it did come to an end. He will look back 10 years from now and think the same about his 25-year-old self. But he doubts that. 5 years is a long time, and he plans to spend the rest of his life with Cameron. Unlike that Flynn in college, losing Cameron would be a traumatic, life-changing disaster. Just thinking about it now makes his throat tighten. The abyss he's felt below his feet since he was 12, that emotional scar left over from the last traumatic event in his life, seems to yawn a bit wider. The bear thinks back to the point where he'd been trying to make about engineers, helping to avoid catastrophic failures, and why it had felt like he's been talking to himself. There's a moment in which recovery is impossible, where a chain reaction of smaller disasters are set off that then mushroom into a tragedy. Maybe he's been reminding himself about what could happen, or maybe he's realizing something that's already happened. Why does it feel like he's already past that point? The point where he's made a decision at a literal fort that set in motion a cascade of failures. There's no reason for him to feel that way considering they're minutes away from leaving, but it feels hopeless now. He ignored all the signs and he turned right. Ignored all the signs. Just like all those officials who ignored signs from their department stores, bridges, dams, and spaceships. At least until everything fell apart. Oh shit. Okay, I think that should be a good place to end off on. Wow. I am concerned for their relationship! Oh my god. Oh my god, this game is actually stressing me out. And nothing remotely, like, traumatizing has happened yet. Okay, also, fun thing, I can't help but, what was I about to say? Arturo, I like him, but I remember back then I heard people say like they didn't like Arturo at all. I'm like, is he just like an acquired taste? But also, Cameron, what the fuck are you doing? Just get in the car and go. You don't want to do this anymore. You don't want to. Please. I know Echo. I've been in Echo. Well, not in real life, but in the game. But I know Echo like the back of my hand. You're gonna be fucked up. Especially since I know that Duke and Brian are still there. They're going to fuck you up. Holy shit. Wait a minute, like, I don't know if they're the only ones in Echo right now, since this takes place like 5 years after Echo. But like, what happened to everyone else at Tennis Alley? So, did they move on, or are they still there? I don't know. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it for the stream. This was nice, albeit a bit messy considering, god damn it, the fucking Sentinel had to die on me. Piece of shit. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you're watching from the VOD, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/XenoTheCowboy. Follow my Twitter, where I post updates and stream schedules, which I also post on my YouTube community posts. And, I don't know, follow me on TikTok as well. I don't post on there as much as I used to, but yeah. Anyway, thank you all so much. Tune in tomorrow for another stream where I play Perfect Apocalypse. And tune in on Wednesday where I play Promises to Keep. And I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!